You know that moment when you realize you've made a terrible mistake, but it's too late to undo it? Like when you buy a $5 gas station sushi roll and convince yourself it'll be fine, until it's very much not fine. That's where a growing number of Trump voters are finding themselves. They wanted to shake up the system. They wanted to own the libs, but instead they're getting owned by reality, and it's hitting their wallets, their jobs, and even their freedoms in ways they never saw coming.
Make America great again is a bad thing? You took my tip away. I didn't mean to disrespect you. It's my livelihood. This is how I make my money. I think it's super disrespectful for you to treat me that way.
We voted for Trump because he promised while he was campaigning like a million times that when he got into office he was going to bring down prices, bring down grocery prices. The inflation has been high ever since COVID, and he promised he would bring that down, but it's obvious to me now that that was not true.
A county that overwhelmingly supported Donald Trump is about to lose its largest employer directly because of Donald Trump's policies. Now, this is Greene County, Tennessee, which is home of Artisan and who is the only supplier of penny blanks to the U.S. Mint. And because of Donald Trump's policy to eliminate the penny, they are on the verge of going out of business, which means everybody there will lose their job. Now, there's a trickle-down effect because the people that work there make the money to keep the other businesses in the county in operation. Now, they're begging Donald Trump, please, to reconsider this decision to eliminate the penny, but Donald Trump isn't listening.
Some folks who aren't feeling Trump's optimism right now are American farmers, and they are stuck in the middle of all of this.
Frank, who did you vote for president?
Mr. Trump.
Right?
Trump. Mr. Trump.
If the election were today, Frank, would you vote for Donald Trump?
No way. Couldn't happen. No.
This is the ultimate FAFO moment for Trump's most loyal supporters, and let's just say they are very much finding out.
You voted for President Trump, so now, in this moment, you say you're in a free fall. What is your message to him?
So I'm off the Trump train. Where I'm going for now is I got to protect my business.
A wheat farmer who says he's lost $400,000 since Trump took office.
I think there was a lot of people who voted for him that want to stay loyal to him, but it's going to get to the point where financially, if it's between supporting the president or losing your family farm.
At this point, some Trump voters are starting to feel like that character in a disaster movie who just realized they've been running with the wrong crowd. Right before everything goes up in flames, they rallied behind the promise to make America great again, convinced it meant prosperity for everyday Americans, the farmers, small business owners, and working-class families just trying to get by. But as the dust settles, one thing is painfully clear: the benefits aren't meant for them. The real winners? The ultra-wealthy corporate giants and opportunists like Elon Musk, who see a golden opportunity to cash in while the working class gets stuck holding the bill.
Look at that most recent press conference in the Oval Office. Who was talking? Elon. Elon was running his mouth while his kid picked his nose beside the impotent commander-in-chief. And that is not good. That's not good for any one of us. America is being played by the world's richest man. Let's be clear. There's not a voter in America that doesn't want to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse in government. There's not a Democrat or Republican or independent out there that's just like, yeah, let's let the government waste all of our tax dollars because who cares? Everybody wants the government to be responsible with our money. But what Elon is doing with our agencies and departments has nothing to do with our money and everything to do with his money. If we really wanted to save money, the very first agency the newly minted Department of Government Efficiency should have audited would have been the Department of Defense, since it's the second largest category of government spending, and the Pentagon has failed its annual audit 7 years in a row. In fact, it hasn't passed an audit since the Department of Defense became required to have audits because they couldn't fully account for where their money was going. But did DOGE start there? No. DOGE started with USAID and the Consumer Financial Protection Board, and they're all up in Treasury and Transportation, and the EPA. They started with the agencies and departments that are specifically connected to Elon's personal wealth. Not yours. His.
Now, the consequences are hitting hard, and there's no ignoring them. Farmers, once promised a bright future, are drowning in debt, with many facing bankruptcy. The tariffs aren't revitalizing American agriculture. They are crippling it. Trump's so-called easy trade war with China, marketed as a bold move to protect America's economy, is instead gutting the very industries his base relies on. Turns out, winning is only for the people already at the top.
So please stop thinking what Elon's doing has anything to do with you. Elon is not working for America. Elon is working for Elon. And if that means he has to do the bidding of China or Russia or Saudi Arabia, it doesn't matter. Elon's making sure that Elon is the world's first trillionaire, the untouchable king of the world. So Donald Trump may have made promises to MAGA and the American people, but Elon is just rolling him to take care of himself.
And once again, we find people that supported Donald Trump that are feeling the effects of his policies, that are starting to feel the hurt, and I could not be happier for them. This is what they deserve. We're all going to be in the find out phase, but it does put a little bit of a smile on my face that the people who were warned, the people who should have been able to see who he was, are feeling it first.
Because between Elon's four main companies, Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, and X, Elon is under multiple investigations. He's in active lawsuits. He has multiple violations and fines levied on him, including OSHA violations and oversight violations and union violations, and court orders from multiple departments he and his boy wonders are now actively hacking. Use logic. Do you think that's for your benefit? So the American people can save money? No, that is for him, so he doesn't lose money. It was a USAID Inspector General who was investigating Starlink's potentially illegal behavior in Russia and Ukraine, just like it was the head of the FAA who was looking into what caused Elon's recent rocket explosion that severely impacted the flight routes of American commercial aircrafts. The National Labor Relations Board has been all over Elon because he treats his employees like shit. He claims to be this great environmental protector, but he is actively helping to shut down the Environmental Protection Agency so they can stop watching what he's doing. None of this is about the American people.
Imagine buying a ticket to see your favorite band, only for them to rob you blind and punch you in the face on stage. That's Trump's America, for his own supporters. MAGA voters were promised economic greatness. Instead, they're watching grocery bills skyrocket, wages stagnate, and rent climb faster than Trump's legal fees. Turns out, massive tax cuts for billionaires don't trickle down. They just sit there in offshore accounts. Meanwhile, regular folks are stuck paying more in taxes while the ultra-rich laugh their way to the Cayman Islands. And let's not forget the inflation boogeyman, a crisis made worse by reckless policies that have thrown markets into chaos. Many Trump voters genuinely believed he was fighting for them. But now, the truth is unavoidable. He was always fighting for himself, his money, his ego, his businesses, his cronies.
So of all the F around and find out videos that have been going around, the one that shocks me the most is that one woman who is saying she's so upset with Donald Trump and Elon Musk and Republicans, and that's it. She's come to the conclusion and she's telling all of us there's no difference between left and right and we all need to band together. And now you guys got what you wanted and you have to suffer the consequences too. We are going to be suffering so much more over the next 4 years and maybe even beyond. And as far as I'm concerned, I will stay on my side where people are humane, where we care about all humans regardless of their race, where we see everyone as equal. I'm going to stay on that side because you don't believe those things. You just don't want to get hurt anymore by what you voted for. There's the difference between the two. And when we're struggling, we have to come together to support each other through this. And I'll be supporting the people who did not vote for this. So don't ask for us to team together. Don't. Because tomorrow, if Trump were to flip a switch and all of a sudden just MAGA wasn't going to be affected anymore, like you thought it was going to be, you're going to bail anyway. Don't ask us to team up.
And that, folks, is the reality check no one ordered but too many are now living. The promises of prosperity? Poof. The so-called wins? Turns out they're reserved for the billionaires popping champagne while regular Americans are left wondering why their grocery bill looks like a car payment and life becoming more challenging. The people who thought they were getting a front row seat to making America great again are now realizing they were just extras in a billionaire tax break movie. One where the rich get richer and the rest? Well, they get the bill. But hey, maybe this is just the beginning of the Great Awakening, where people start asking the tough questions instead of buying into political fairy tales. Because at the end of the day, the real power doesn't belong to the politicians. It belongs to you. So, what do you think? Are we witnessing the biggest FAFO moment in modern politics, or is there still time to course correct? Have people finally had enough, or will they double down? Let's talk about it. Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you love deep dives that cut through the noise, hit that like button and subscribe, because trust me, we're just getting started and you won't want to miss what's coming next.